What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we got some MMA to talk, some beer to drink, we got some boxing also. UFC 304 coming up this weekend. We got a pick'em show for you. First, though, we're going to get into the combat sports news events results from this past weekend. Today's beer that we're sipping on, it's Zombie Dust. 3 Floyd Zombie Dust, Undead Pale Ale, 6.5%. I don't know. I liked the can at the gas station, so I grabbed it before I started recording this. So I'll try this out. But yeah, Jake Paul took on Mike Perry and knocked him out round 6. Just absolutely dominated him the whole time. Said that was going to happen in my last video. I said he's way too big for him, way too strong. He's been training just boxing. It's different than bare knuckle. Jake Paul gets it done. He's undefeated against former MMA fighters, so what do you do? And then the UFC Fight Night card, man, that beer is not very good at all. We'll drink it, but it's not very good. UFC Fight Night card. Lemos versus Jandiroba. Virna Jandiroba taps her out in round 2. It was a good grappling affair. Not a lot of stand-up. Virna Jandiroba, her wrestling's on point. She's got real good jiu-jitsu. Other than Tatiana Suarez, there's really no one else to challenge Zhang Weili for the title. So after that Suarez fight, Jandiroba might need to win one more, but she's probably going to fight for the belt next. It's just kind of a weak division right now. Card was kind of dud as far as names go, but the main card, I think it was all finishes. It was pretty awesome. Haider Emil landed like a 10,000 punch combination at the beginning of the fight to finish his fight. Doo Ho Choi broke Bill Algio's face, gets a second round knockout. Bruno Silva, he gets a massive comeback, gets a knockout of Cody Durden. He was getting dominated most of that fight. Goodness. So yeah, card didn't turn out to be too bad for not having shit for names on it. Don't want to see any more UFC Fight Night cards like that, but I know we have Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's going to fucking suck. Alright, moving on. UFC 304, the Pick'em Show. We are up $754.41 year to date. We started doing this 3 cards ago. We were up $273.50 on this last card where it was all Pick'ems on the fucking number line, so didn't end up doing too bad. So yeah, we cashed on a few things there. Anyways, today's show, we're gonna kick things off with the heavyweights. Mick Parkin, minus 290 favorite, taking on Lukas Brzeski, plus 235 dog. Brzeski, he's 1-3 in the UFC. Guy he beat in his last fight, I forget who it even was, but not anybody of any talent. Mick Parkin, he's been taking off these lower level guys. UFC likes him. They're setting him up for a big win at home in England. So I got Parkin in this one. $100 gets you 134. Parkin, he's got good leg kicks. He's got power. He's a real big heavyweight. Lukas Brzeski, he's a pretty small heavyweight. He weighs about 240, 235, I think. So I think this is going to be a pretty easy fight. Probably an unanimous decision for Parkin if I had to guess, because he doesn't seem like he's got the knockout power in him at the UFC level. But we'll have to see. That's supposed to kick the card off. Next up, we've got Muhammad Makayev taking on Manel Kape. This fight was initially on the main card, then it got moved to the prelims. Now it's on the early prelims. I don't know what's going on with it. These two camps got into it just a little bit before recording this show. Big fight, second time they've gotten in a fight. This happened at the Fighters Hotel, and yeah, so that's pretty wild. There's a lot of heat between these two. And these guys probably fighting number 1 contender fight. Next guy might fight Pantoja next. You know, Makayev, tough-ass wrestler, pillow hands, though. He's got good jiu-jitsu, too. But Manel Kape, he's so explosive. He's got great takedown defense. I don't know how it's going to hold up against Makayev. I really have a tough time picking this fight. Kape's a plus 130 dog to Makayev's 155. Manel Kape, I don't know. I'm gonna roll with the wrestling of Muhammad Makayev. I don't want him to win. I want to see Manel Kape get a sick knockout. I'd be fine losing the 100 on that one. But yeah, so we're gonna put 100 on Muhammad Makayev. My gut just says even with that 77% takedown defense that Manel Kopp has, I think Makhayev's getting through it. $100 gets you 164.51, and I'm worried the reason UFC moved this fight up to the early prelims is because they might know something we don't, maybe an injury on Kopp's side or something like that, that they know this is going to be a boring, grinded out fucking wrestling backpack fest by Muhammed Makhayev. I don't know, but it is very weird that it got moved so far up on the card. Next up, you got Oban Elliott taking on Preston Parsons. Both guys, they don't have the best striking. Oban Elliott, he's a big Chael Sonnen fan, and he likes to fight like him. He likes to grab onto you, drag you down to the mat, do some ground and pound, get some top control, just dominate you from the wrestling perspective. Preston Parsons, he's got some slick BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's good with that. He's got good wrestling too. He can get top control, just mount you and get some ground and pound. I just think Parsons has fought a lot tougher guys, and when I've seen Oban Elliott out there, I haven't been impressed. His striking's not that great. So I'm going with Preston Parsons as the favorite, but he's the road dog. But minus 135, $100 gets you 174. We're going with a lot of chalk on these early fights because I don't trust a lot of these dogs in them, especially, I don't know. It's over in England, weird time. It's a weird card. Modestas Bukauskas, he's taking on Marcin Prachnio, minus 160 for Bukauskas, Prachnio plus 135. This is Bukauskas' second stint in the UFC. He's been doing a lot better. I think he's 3-1, but he is coming off a knockout loss to Vitor Petrino. Prachnio lost to him by submission also, so no shame there. Dude's a beast. Only loss is Anthony Smith. This fight's a tough one to pick because these guys are both, I don't know, just susceptible to getting knocked out. They've both been knocked out, I think, 4 times. Both have power to knock you out, but I think Bukauskas has the power edge. Neither really want to take you to the ground. Prachnio seems to gas in a lot of his fights. He doesn't have great head movement. He's going to be there for the knockout by Bukauskas, and it seems like the UFC wants the second stint for him to go pretty well. Other than that Petrino fight, he's been getting fed some people that are pretty good, pretty easy to knock out, or pretty easy to look good against. It's just his volume is he's such a low volume striker. I'll put 50 on Bukauskas as minus 165. That gets you an $85 back. I don't know, not huge on that one, but we got to spend it somehow on this card. Next up, we got Jake Hadley versus Callan Loughran. Initially, I like Jake Hadley. Looking at the numbers on this, remembering Jake Hadley's fights, he's looked good even when he's lost. He's a good wrestler. He's got good striking, but he doesn't finish the fights. He seems to gas. He doesn't seem to have the heart. I don't know what it is. But also, he's moving up a weight class. Callan Loughran, he's pretty big for 135. That's not a huge jump in weight from 125 to 35, and Hadley's the taller dude, but Loughran carries it more naturally. He's a good wrestler, got really good ground and pound, and the dude cracks on the feet. I just think the size is going to be a big problem for him. Loughran, he's a minus 210 favorite, and we're rolling with that. $100 gets you 148 back. So, more chalk. It's been straight chalk this far. We got 450 down. Next fight, we're not putting any money on this. Nathaniel Wood, UFC is just setting him up for a hometown win over Danielle Pineda. He's like a minus 450 favorite. They're doing the same thing with Molly Meatball McCann. It's just, she's got overwhelming pressure. When she fights over in England, she just bomb rushes you. Millions of strikes in your face. She's got some power. She doesn't lose also when Patty Pimblett's fighting on the same card as her. 2 spinning elbows. I mean, the girl's a beast when Patty's on the card with her. But minus 380 is not for me. I'm not putting money on that one. And we're going to move on to the main card where Arnold Allen's kicking things off, taking on Giga Chikadze. Minus 245 favorite for Giga Chikadze. I was really shocked by these numbers, but I think it's a pretty even fight when you look at it. Neither guy likes to go to the ground. Chikadze's a beast kickboxer. He's got really good striking. The only guy that's outstruck him is Calvin Kattar with boxing, and Arnold Allen's not as much of a crisp boxer. Is just kind of a lot of hooks. He's awkward. He hits you from long range but weird angles. I don't know. He's kind of an awkward fighter, but he's tough as nails. I like Chikadze in this, though. I think the Giga kicks coming back. It seems like Allen's susceptible to body kicks. It seems like it's always there. Not a lot of people have attacked it, but if Giga Chikadze kicks you with one of those tree trunk legs straight to the ribs, he's putting you down. If he gets your liver, you're done. So I like Chikadze in this one. Plus 200 gets you $100, gets you 300 back. So that's where we're rolling with this one. Not super confident in that because it's like a pick 'em in my mind, but it's going to be a good fight. It could be fight of the night. It's going to stay on the feet. That's for fucking sure. All right, next up we got Christian Leroy Duncan, minus 150 favorite versus Gregory Rodriguez. And this fight should be pretty awesome. Both these guys like to stand and trade. They can both knock you out. Rodriguez has been knocked out before, but he's hard to put away. He's been hurt in a lot of fights and has come back and just put it on people. You look at the Chan Sung Jung fight and the Chidi and Jokwani fight. Both fights, he was hurt bad at the beginning, and he ends up coming back and just dominating the two. So this fight, it's different because Rodriguez, he doesn't have real crisp striking. He's a fucking giant for the 185 weight class, and he's like a rock'em sock'em robot, just throwing from like the hips, the chest area, and throwing hooks, but they're fucking heavy and they'll put you out. He leaves himself open to get hit though, and he can get knocked out early, but it's like if he doesn't get knocked out with that first wobble, then he's going to come back and he's just going to turn into a zombie and walk you down. Christian Leroy Duncan, he's super skilled on the feet. He's got good wrestling too, but on the feet, very poised. He really picks his shots, but he's got power also to put you down, and he hasn't been knocked out. With that being said, the size is huge for Gregory Rodriguez, and I get burned every time I bet against him or for him. So I'm not betting on this one, but not picking a fighter. I am going with the under of 1.5. I think we're getting a knockout in this one, one or the other. $100 gets you. Shit, where is it? Under, yeah, $100 at plus 115. I couldn't believe it was plus money on the under. $100 gets you 215 back, so we got 650 down of this 1,000 that we put up here. Next up, we got Bobby Green minus 115 taking on Paddy Pimblett at minus 105. And people are really down on Paddy Pimblett just because of the Jared Gordon fight, I think, because he didn't finish Tony Ferguson. He gassed out trying to finish him in round one. I like Green. A lot of people are getting behind Green, betting on him. I'm not sure about that, though, because Paddy Pimblett is tough. He's got a great chin. He hasn't been put down like Bobby Green has. Bobby Green was just knocked out earlier this year. I know he went to war with Jim Miller, but Paddy Pimblett hits a lot harder than Jim Miller does. Also, with Bobby Green, his striking's slick, but on the ground, he's not going to be able to hold a candle to Paddy. And I think he's going to have to worry about the takedown shots from Paddy, and that's going to cause him to get hit on the feet. So I'm rolling with Paddy. We got 100 on Paddy, gets you 195 back. Another 100, Molly McCann, parlayed with Paddy Pimblett, plus 156. The Scouser parlay hasn't missed yet. Goodness gracious. Next up, we got Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall, and I love this fight. I love Tom Aspinall. Great striking, great on the ground. Jiu-jitsu's fucking phenomenal. Got a lot of power. But we haven't seen him fight very long. He hasn't fought more than 7 minutes, I think, in the UFC. He's been able to connect early. I think that's his path to victory with Curtis, is to get him out early, because Curtis has kind of faltered under the lights in the past, but I don't think that's happening this time. I got a feeling about this. I've heard Tom kind of not too happy about the time. He keeps mentioning that. I think that's getting in his head a little bit, but that's not why. We haven't seen Tom fight more than 7 minutes. We have seen Curtis go the distance several times. Curtis is fucking tough. His wrestling's phenomenal, and we haven't seen Tom get put on his back yet and have to get up. It's hard to get up, especially against Curtis Blaydes with those razor blades elbows coming down at you. I really like Curtis Blaydes in this. Like I said, he could get crushed under the lights. Could be too big of a moment for him, but I just think this is it. They got him as a plus 295 dog in the first fight. Very short sample size, but he was really putting it on Tom. He was connecting more than Tom was. His combinations, he was finding the distance in those 15 seconds. I know that's such a small sample size, but he's not going to be outclassed on the feet like everyone thinks he is. Tom's super slick, super fast on the feet, and he could catch him real quick. But Curtis could also shoot right away, put him on his back, and just make him exhausted from trying to get up for 5 rounds. I like Curtis in this, plus 295. We're going to put 50 on it. $50 gets you 197.50 back. So that's where we're rolling with that one. And then finally on the main event, we got Leon Rocky Edwards taking on Belal, remember the name, Muhammed. And I was really shocked at the odds on this one. Minus 260 for Leon, plus 210 for Belal. I couldn't believe it. I thought this would be closer to like minus 160 and plus 130 or something like that. I don't know. I couldn't believe that it was this disrespectful to Belal. First fight, Leon was dominating him. Belal took it on short notice. Leon was supposed to take on Hamzat, so he was probably training his fucking ass off to be active as shit, because Hamzat is. And he was. That was the most active you ever seen Leon. But Leon doesn't usually fight like that the way he did in that first Belal fight. And since that fight, Belal has beaten Damian Maia, Tyron Woodley, Vicente Luque, knocked out Sean Brady, and beat Gilbert Burns. Totally different fight styles here. Totally dominant in all those fights, though. Each fight, Belal Muhammad identifies where the weakness is of his opponent. He knows he's not going to beat him everywhere, but he can identify where he's better, takes him there, and stays there the entire fight. Just the fight IQ this guy has and the pressure that makes fighters uncomfortable. And it's really going to make Leon uncomfortable. Leon does not like to fight off his back foot. He won't engage off his back foot. He won't really throw off his back foot. He likes to have space. Belal's going to crowd that space. He's going to be in his face the entire fight. Leon could win by knockout. Super slick striker. Great takedown defense. But Belal's been working with those Dagestanis. I think this is Belal's time, and I don't think Leon's all that. I like Leon. Exciting fighter when he fights, but the Colby fight, didn't fight. Second Kamaru fight, Kamaru was hurt. The Colby fight, Colby broke his foot or something. I mean, the first Kamaru fight, or the second Kamaru fight, I guess, the first one for the title, getting beat for 24 minutes or 24 minutes of a 25-minute fight. I know the last minute counts too, so he gets the win in it, but he's getting beat the entire fight besides that. I like Belal in this. I think Belal's getting it done, and I'm not even a Belal fan, but what he does in the octagon is pretty damn impressive. The way he just fucking goes out there, fight IQ, has a game plan, sticks to it, gets it done. He's smart out there. He's fucking strategic. Alright, so the picks, we're going to run through them again just so you can get them if you're trying to parlay anything. We got Mick Parkin, Muhammad Makayev, Preston Parsons, Modestas Bukauskas, Callan Loughran, Giga Chikadze, under 1.5 in the Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez fight, 100 on Patty and Molly combo, Blaydes, Muhammad, that's 1,000. So, other news around the combat sports world. Nick Diaz fight versus Vicente Luque has been postponed due to travel issues. It was supposed to happen in Abu Dhabi on August 3rd. It's going to be postponed. Who knows why? I don't know. Not too interested in seeing a Nick Diaz fight. I just don't want to see him get beat up. I'm a big fan of what he used to do, and I don't think he's got it anymore. Lomachenko versus Tank Davis is not happening. Lomachenko contract talks fall through. They say Loma's taking the rest of the year off. So Tank's got to find a new opponent, whether it's going to be Kambosos or Shakur Stevenson or whoever, maybe Teofimo Lopez if he wants to move up in weight. I don't know. And then Canelo's next fight has been set for September 14th versus Edgar Berlanga. Berlanga. I don't know. Won't fight David Benavidez, but that's going to be going up head-to-head versus UFC 306 in the Sphere. And then finally, rumors of UFC working on Charles Oliveira versus Brian T-City Ortega for UFC 306. That's going to be a fucking banger if that's happening. And Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evlov has been announced for UFC 307 in October. So that's what we got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. Let's make some money. Remember, we're up big-ish. We're making a profit. Not a huge one, but we're up units each week. So make sure you subscribe to my videos. Check out my shorts. Shoot me a like. Thanks for watching.